Hey, everybody. It is your girl, Coach Cheryl, and happy Wednesday. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I wanted to jump off with the empowerment for today, Empower Minute for today, and I want to talk about something that God shared with me during my devotion and prayer time today. But before we jump in, I'm going to ask everybody just to do me a favor and to share, like, and share this with someone. I'm going to be looking down to do that now. Sometimes I forget. And then, so I'm going to try to go ahead and do that now. If you would do the same, I would appreciate it. Also, if you could go ahead and say hello in the comments. Let me know whether you're live or whether you are watching the replay. If you're watching live, so I can say hey to you. And if you're watching the replay, I can come back. I'll always go back in the comments afterwards and greet everybody and thank you for just being a part and joining. So, this morning, during my prayer and devotion, I was I'm in the season of trying to figure out some things, right? Trying to figure out some things and trying to walk through some things as well. And God has really been teaching me about myself. Has God ever done that to y'all? Just teach you about yourself. And so I want to start today with a scripture that I read or listened to during my devotion, and it is in Psalms chapter 46 and 10. And it says, "Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the heathen. I will be exalted in the earth." Now, and the reason I talk about this particular scripture is God has really been dealing with me about just being still. It's one of the hardest things for me to do. I don't know if you're like me or not, but sitting down and being still is just not my strong suit. I am, as my dad likes to call me, I'm an A-type personality. So I'm always doing something. I'm always, planning something, doing something. I always have like about 4 or 5 balls in the air, 4 or 5 projects. Being an entrepreneur and being self-employed. I'm always thinking of ways, products, services to offer to help make people's lives better and just to be a blessing. And so I'm always thinking. And I didn't realize that I was moving so far and so fast, or not so far, so fast, but I was always doing something until my dad brought it to my attention. And it's been several months ago, I started struggling with my blood pressure. My blood pressure was like all over the place, and I was trying to get my blood pressure together. And so I started doing changing my diet. You know I've always exercised several times a week. So making sure I'm exercising, making sure I'm cutting back on salt and all the things. I was doing all the things, but I still couldn't get my blood pressure in check. And so my dad was like, he thought it was stress related. He said, "You're doing so much, you need to just be still." And so he challenged me. He said, "I want you to take a day where you just don't do anything. Don't do anything at all." When I tell y'all that was the biggest challenge, first of all, let me tell you how it really went down. I couldn't find a day where I could honor my dad's request to do nothing. I was like, okay, I can't do nothing this day. So maybe I'll do it this day. Maybe, oh, I can't do nothing this day. And if anybody on here, if you're watching, if you're like me, just let me know in the comments. Just say, "Me too, Cheryl. I get it. Me too." And so I couldn't find a day. And so when I finally found a day, it was so hard for me not to do anything. I was struggling. I was struggling like nothing. I can't do nothing work related. I just got, what am I supposed to, I didn't know what to do with myself. And so it taught me, this season of transition has taught me so much about myself, about my behaviors, about how I think about myself, how I think about life, and how I maneuver through life. And so it taught me a lot of things. Was number one, I didn't trust God like I thought I did. Anybody else? I was trusting the things that I was doing more than I was trusting being. I had spent the majority of my life becoming or trying to become instead of just being. And so I wanted to encourage someone that may be watching today. I just want to encourage you to be still. That God doesn't need all of your action. And for all of the faith without works is dead people. I truly believe that. But I believe sometimes we trust so much in our works that our faith is diminished because we're trusting on in things that we do and not in the providence of God to move on our behalf. And so God is teaching me how to be still, how to sit in the moment and to trust Him to steer my life. Not trust the things that I see, not trust the actions that I could take, but trusting Him to direct me and to give me peace during the process. So I just wanted to jump on here really quick just to encourage someone to be still. And you see that the topic just says, just go sit down somewhere. Just go sit down somewhere and trust that God has you. That even in difficult seasons of transition that you're going through, that will be me. Even though you can't see with your physical eyes things working out in your favor, that if you would just trust God and that you would just listen. All week long, we've been talking about, you know, listening to your life and watching your life. And God has given me the unique opportunity during this season of transition to just almost from a different vantage point, a different perspective, just to look at my life, to watch my behaviors, to watch my attitudes, to watch my thoughts, and to think through on who I am, who He's called me to be, and how to pull back from action and trusting in myself and trusting in Him more. Trusting in God more than I trust myself. And I know for most of us born and raised in the church, well, let me not talk about most of us raised in church. Let me talk about me. For the most part of my life, I thought that I wasn't trusting in my actions. I wasn't trusting in my doing, that I was really trusting in God. But God has taught me through this season that through the most of my life, I've trusted in my doing. I've trusted in my becoming. I've trusted in my actions instead of trusting Him to work all things together for good, for Him to complete the work. Yes, He sets the agenda and I follow through with, corresponding actions. But most of the time I've been trusting my actions instead of His power. I've been trusting my might instead of His goodness. And so for someone today, I don't know who you are. I just want to encourage you to just be still and know that God is God, to cease from striving, cease from the culture of this world that tells you you have to make it happen. If you have to make it happen, perhaps it wasn't supposed to happen like that. Perhaps there was a better way to do it where you could have just put in some of the work, but God made it happen. I'm in a season of my life where I want God to make something happen. I've made a whole lot of stuff in my life happen, but it took so much striving. It took so much energy that I don't believe I necessarily had to exert, and that I trusted in my own abilities and not in God's providence, not in His power, not in His timing. So my encouragement to you today is just to be still. As uncomfortable as it is, just be. Cease from doing, cease from all the work, and just be. Allow yourself to be still so you can listen to the voice of God. You can listen enough to your life that you can see where He's directing you in this season, and that you can walk out the path that He has for you without striving and without pressure. God bless you. I love you all with the love of the Lord, and I'll see you next time. The perfect journal for dreamers has now arrived. It has awesome encouragement to build your faith, great motivation for the woman ready to make moves, and weekly affirmations, and prayers for women going places. This is the 52-week prayer and affirmation devotional that every woman of faith needs. Simply go to www.cherylthomas.co/believe and grab your copy today.